So today is really not going to be like a keynote. It's really going to be about you and your company, okay? And so what we're going to talk about is really how you win. How do you know if you're winning? I work with companies all over the world. And when I walk into these companies, it's interesting. When I ask the leaders at the top, are you winning? They quickly say yes. I said, do you know if you're winning or losing? The leaders say yes. But when I go to the shop floor and when I talk to the leaders and I talk to the managers, I ask that same question. They say no. In some cases, it looks like an old Scooby-Doo movie, right? I said, are you winning? Show me. And they give me that look. I said, are you winning or losing it? I don't know, right? And so what we're going to talk about today is how do you know if you're winning? How do you know if you're measuring the right things? What's your daily system to do that? Now, you're going to hear me say to you often today is write this down. These are little things that you should be triggering your memory if you're leading people, if you're transforming organizations. Because what we're going to talk about today is, do you have a connected business model? It's not just about the people at the top. It's every level of the organization connected. If people are working in your team, you want them connected. So we're going to talk about how do you revolutionize and also keep in mind the traditional ways of running business. So we're going to talk about an all-in-one system and ask you, do you have one? I don't care if you're a mom and pop store or a major corporation. I've worked with all sorts of nonprofits, all types of organizations. When people know if you're winning, you boost your IQ. Now, these are not things I want you to write down. I'm going over things we're going to go over today on how do you boost your IQ of your whole business. So what we're going to talk about today is a game changer. Why is it a game changer? We're going to talk about these things that great companies do. One, deliberate clarity. Leaders and teams are very deliberate on what you want to accomplish. And when I ask you, do people know your strategy? Do people know what they own in your strategy? If you don't focus on deliberate ownership, it's easy to put tools out there. It's easy to put boards out there. But if it's not clear what those boards should achieve and who owns what on those boards, they're just posters. And last, we're going to talk about a deliberate management system. Do you have a system? We're going to practice today on a system. We're going to role play. I want to demonstrate to you the impacts of it. In fact, I'm going to do some things behind the participants' back that are going to show you and demonstrate while you're watching. And last, how do you govern? First thing I want you to write down is, in the absence of ownership comes blame. In the absence of ownership comes blame. If people don't know what they own in your strategy, when it goes bad, they will blame you. And it becomes finger pointing. Now, to kick the morning off, you probably think I'm just talking. Everything I'm going to say today, I'm going to prove. And I do this every time I do a keynote. Everybody stand up, please. Put your hands to your side. We're going to exercise. Those that didn't do your exercise this morning, we're going to get it out of the way. I want you to put your hands up like this. Wiggle your fingers, little spirit fingers. I'm going to give you some clear instructions. We're going to go to the left, count to 3. We're going to go to your right, count to 3. And then on the count of 3, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. We're going to clap and wake our bodies up. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, clap, and wake our bodies up. Put your hands down. Any questions about what I've asked you to do? All right, here we go. Hands up. To the left. 1, 2, 3. To the right. 1, 2, 3. In the middle. Better ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, I clearly asked everybody to clap on 3. Why did you clap on 2? Because you did. What'd I tell you? See, you're going to blame me. What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you? Okay, have a seat. Your companies are no different. People will follow what you do before they follow what you say. So what we're going to talk about is how do you set those standards and create a system to create what? Ownership. So why do businesses struggle? It starts with their culture. Do you have a system, right, to daily manage that's data-driven? You can't just have meetings to have meetings because people will talk by the issues. And people need to be accountable in those meetings. I do not have daily huddles just to have, oh, was everybody safe? Did everybody have an accident? What we have is what you're going to hear me talk about KPAs, key performance actions. Key performance actions deliver key performance indicators. So when you have your daily meetings, you should assign things like, could you walk the area and see if there's any unsafe conditions? When you come back to the huddle, what did we do about it? Instead of waiting for my supervisor. See, that's ownership. Now, if you want to lose weight, the KPI is what? Standing on the scale. What's the KPA? Exercise. Calories. How many? You see what I mean? KPAs deliver what? KPIs. Great teams connect the KPAs with the what? KPI. I'm going to show you how to do that today. So, let's talk about cracking the code. Think of an egg. When the egg is cracked from the inside, it signifies life. But when the egg is cracked from the outside, it signifies the end. So how are you cracking your egg? Are you waiting on consultants to come in and crack your egg? Or are you helping them crack your egg from the inside? When I show up as a partner. Why? When I crack it, it stays. We're having breakfast. You're dying. And so we're going to talk about how to crack that egg. And I'm not going to go all of these, but this is how you drive culture change. You got to align your KPAs with your KPIs. You have to have ownership, transparency. Some of us struggle with being transparent. You know what? They treat you like the lady in the grocery store with the baby carriage. Hey, how does my baby look? I don't want my managers acting like this. Acting like what? You walk up to the carriage, what do? Oh, that baby's so cute. It's so precious. But when you walk away, what do you say? Ooh, dang, that's an ugly baby. And some people get rude. It doesn't look like the father, right? Right? We have those transparent conversations because there's no ugly babies. I had to do my daughter's hair once, and it turned out bad. But transparency and what we talk about is how do we foster continuous improvement, break down those barriers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But we're going to talk about how do you drive ownership to the source. Remember, in the absence of ownership comes what? Blame. Today, we're going to go from a system that says we're going to start with a strategy. Today, you're going to build your strategy on a page. I'm going to give you some tools to actually do it. And again, I don't care if you're a small group or a big team. What I'm going to encourage, if you work for the same company, kind of sit by each other so you can work through this. If you're a team, by yourself. But what we've saw is once we build a strategy on a page, now we got the strategy for the enterprise, then we can move to strategies for the functions. And I'm going to show you how to connect those. But here's what Harvard Reviews, basically they did a study. 85% of leaders spend less than 1 hour a month on strategy. Once they do the strategy one time, it goes into a desk drawer. It's not embedded, okay? So here's what typically happens. Companies and leaders sit together at the top. They come up with this great strategy to make $9 million. When they make $8 million, they point. They blame. In fact, at the end of the month, they bring everybody in the office and they start screaming, hey, come in here. We're overspending. Stop spending. No traveling. No catering. Right? Get your ink pen out of the hotel room. Instead of going to this where you say, I'm going to start with my strategy. You're going to build one of these today. I'm going to go more in detail. Once I break my strategy down, then I go to now breaking down who owns what in that strategy. Then I start to assign targets. Then I'm connected at every level. And so when I missed, the CEO, the vice president missed, what I need to focus, region 1, 2, or 3? Somebody help me. 1. So think about, that's what normally happens in companies. Right here, we should focus on region 1. But if you don't have a process that connects it, watch what happens. Write this down too. You can't manage a secret. You can't manage a secret. And based on what you just saw, the next level is a secret because you have no visibility. Now watch what happens. I'm going to ask you the same question. So now these plants are connected to region 2. These plants connected to region 3, region 2, region 3. Now which plants, which region is the problem?
Yep. I think.
Yeah, 2. Because I didn't have no visibility, I thought 2 was okay. My best plant in my whole company happened to be in region 2. I've got a problem here. But more importantly, I've exposed secrets. Do you have secrets in your organization? Because once I know what my problem is, now I can get right at the PDCA. And so we're going to share with you how to do that today, and we're going to demonstrate it. What we're going to talk about is how do you build that strategy and deploy it where you can see it. It's really important that you know the score. How many of you been to any type of sporting event? Raise your hand. Okay. When you get to that event, what is the first thing you look for after you find your kid sitting on the bench and you get your popcorn and your beverage? What's the first thing you look for? The score. In most companies, here's what happens. And I work with automotive suppliers all over the world. My biggest client today, they have 11 plants. And we eliminated a $1.7 million miss in 3 months. And they are just thriving. Why? Because they expose secrets. But when I first walk into these buildings, how many of you have ever been bowling, right? Think about this. Imagine walking to a bowling alley and you bowl the ball, but all you hear is the noise. Pow! But you don't know how many pins you knock down. What's your strategy? Just keep it. And that's what happens in companies, right? And they don't have that visibility. And so I want everybody to understand this. I want you to get your mindset right around this. And I do this a lot. On the count of 3, I want you to write the word no down. On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Write down the word no on a piece of paper. Okay, I'm going to have you raise your hands for a second. There's no wrong answer. If you wrote the word N-O down, raise your hand. Now, you got to raise your hand on one or the other. You can't stay dormant. All right? How many of you wrote the word K-N-O-W? Okay? Now, let me go here. Most leaders in companies, as they go up, it's no. And you think stop fear here. But when you hear the word no, that's what your mind thinks. If people don't understand what winning is and what they own in winning, they operate here. Your operators start operating here. They don't want to look dumb. They don't want to feel dumb. They don't want to feel not included. When they go here, now that sounds the same, but ever since we were kids, We got report cards. We were rewarded for this. When you think no, when you know, at your visual board, your team thinks the opportunity is now here. We're going to go over the exercise today. We're going to talk about the 10-second rule. So before we go into building your strategy, this is me running North America, and this company was losing $38 million a month. I mean, $38 million a year, I'm sorry. Yeah. We end up becoming $1 billion company. I think it's 4 years, we were at $1 billion and growing. But first, we just looked at this. Am I making a profit month to date? Yes. Year to date? Yes. Am I introducing new products? No. Do I have enough people? Yes. How are my operations? Am I delivering on time and full? What about safety? This is how we operated, and I was so confused and I was so overwhelmed. And then we put a management system that we're going to go over here in a minute that says, now I want to connect all of the plants that report to me. I made a profit, but how many plants didn't make a profit? How am I doing on new product delivery? Do I have enough people?
Good shape.
Am I safe? What's my best running plant? What's my worst running plant? Somebody help me. What's my worst running plant?
I see it.
Pause. Look how quick y'all are going there, okay? What we're going to talk about is how do we build this system? Every plant I walked into, I saw this board around who owned what, okay? These are things that should be on any board when you're talking to leaders. We're going to go to my owner, my trends, my status, and who owns what. And I'm rushing through this because I want to get you to the action because of time. You also should have an action register. So what we do in our plants, if we have a meeting and you say you're going to commit to something, then there's a tag. You walk up there and put that on that date so that when the date of the month comes, 12, you're supposed to deliver this date. As a leader, you forget. We had a nonprofit do this, and so this is how we follow up. Okay. What we're going to go over today is I'm going to show you a digital system that in 5 clicks, I can go from my strategy, my performance, like that wall, the action register, my PDCA that I can sort. How do I trend it? And then if I have a meeting, how do I know how to go back every week and see who should be accountable? Okay? We're going to talk about how do we do strategic integration, alignment and ownership, performance, trend analysis, how do I close gaps, and how do I govern? So, remember I said KPAs and KPIs. My question to you as an organization, if you have multiple shifts, do you have a SOAR? A shift operating review? Do you have a DOOR? A daily operating review? A WAR and a MORE? This is an after-action review. This is the worst of the meetings. This just calibrates your strategy. This drives your strategy from week to week and self-correct. This is more tactical. This is where you empower the workforce. Okay? All right. We're going to do 5 clicks to reality here in a few minutes. But before we do that, I want to do an exercise with you. So I need some volunteers. I need 4 volunteers.
Good.
Please come up here. Come on up. Come on up. I need 2 more. Come on up, Notre Dame. Come on up. All right. Let me see how we're going to do this here. Here we go. You are now, if I can, my safety manager. Okay? Now I'm going to have them turn around. All right, here we go. Japan, you are now my HR manager. Okay? You're my quality manager. You're my delivery operations manager. I now need an accountant. Come on up.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
All right. I now want you to write your name on that sticky note. So if you can let the borrow a pen, write your name on the sticky note. Now what we're going through is the behavior base too. Okay, while they're doing that, you guys can't look at me. The rest of you look at me. I want you to watch their body language. Watch their body language. What you're gonna see is how you start transforming. They're gonna own it, and this is just a game. It's gonna stop being a game really quick. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Ready.
All right, what I'd like you to do is my safety manager. Let me see, why don't you put your sticky note right here. Can I get the HR manager? All right, right here, my quality manager, Christine. All right, yeah, my delivery manager and my account. So now what I'd like you to do is one by one, I'm gonna go over, tell me how you're doing month to date and how you're doing year to date. Okay, if it's red, you're off plan. If it's green, you're on plan. I just want a quick explanation on how you're doing. So how you doing?
Good.
Good. Month to date, how you doing? Month to date, safety? You're not, yeah, you're off. What about year to date?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, all right. All right.
Okay. What
Month to date?
month to date? Everybody's happy. Everybody's working.
No, how's he doing month to date?
All good.
He's off plan.
Job plan.
How's he doing year to date?
Okay.
All right. So,
Oh, we're off. Oh, we're good.
we're good?
We're off. Yeah.
All right, wait a minute.
Okay.
I want to try something here. Hold on. Let me do something different here. What? I'm just asking.
There you go.
All right. Who has delivery?
That'd be me.
What just happened?
I got excited. I got to say yes right.
All right. All right. How are you doing financially?
We're good.
Month to date. How are you doing year to date?
He's in the box. In the chills.
Really? So, what should we work on in safety? Which area should we work on? What do you think we should do? Here's your strategy on the page. What do you think? You can pull it down if you like.
Yep.
What should we work on?
This one.
This one right here.
There you go. Pause. Now, I hadn't taught her yet. Instinctively, she's taking ownership. Okay? I'm going to hold it back. Now, go back. Put this up. Now, watch what's about to happen. Remember I said you can't manage your what?
Secret.
So now I'm going to expose the organization.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to give you an explanation. And I want to have a conversation with you. Okay? I'm going to change some things here.
Face.
Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to look at your organization. This is your corporate headquarters. This is Region 1, Region 2, Region 3. All of these here regions make up your bottom line performance. So if I'm red because of Region 1 and Region 3. If I'm green, my whole region was good. I'm red, I'm green. Although I'm green, this is carrying the whole organization. So what I want you to do is take a look at your organization real quick. You can step up and tell me how you're performing. And we're going to go by your overall enterprise.
Somebody in my organization is lying.
Go to town. They're so.
It's up. Kind of quality is all green, yet they're all.
Grease too fun.
Well performing. It's like, give it a second.
Huh?
On quality, it's all green, yet they're all. Someone's. There's a hidden secret there.
All right, let's go with safety. Let's talk about safety, how we're doing in safety. Month to date?
In the month today, we're a little off in Region 1, but Region 2 is looking pretty good. And then Region 3 is off as well.
Okay, how are you doing for the year?
For the year, things are looking good.
Okay, all right, let's go to human resources.
Once again, Region 1, we seem to have a problem there. But as well, too, same issues here in Region 3, which are creating an issue for by Region 2 is not enough to bring us up to par.
Okay, year to date, you look pretty good.
Year to date, it looks like Region 1 seems to be holding down the fort. Their Region 2 and 3 are not performing as they should.
Okay, so do you have too many people in Region 1, and that's why you don't have enough in Region 2?
Could be. There could be other indicators that could be driving that number.
Okay, all right, let's go to quality.
Region 1, month to date, we're off. Well, we must have done pretty good because year to we're off for green there. We're good. Region 2, it's good, and Region 3, we're off right now this month, but year to end, we're just right.
Okay, so what's wrong in that picture?
You should put year to date.
The year to date.
Or the 3 greens.
As a leader, I now have a system that tells me something's not right.
What?
Before, I would just be listening to verbiage because I don't have a system. You follow what I'm saying? And so, how do you create this system so you can use your time wisely? Right? And let's go into delivery. How are we doing?
Well, somebody's obviously lying on the month today because we got 3 reds and yet we're green.
And this happened. Let's go year to date. How you doing?
Year to date, Mr. Job Plan in Region 3.
Some more.
Okay, let's talk about our financials at the end of the month. How are we doing?
Region 2 and 3 are on target, but once they end year to date, Region 1 is having some issues.
What do we need to focus on the team? What region?
I think Region 1 and 3 is
Each board will create this
interesting.
The model where we were going with this, we have a what? Scoreboard. That scoreboard creates ownership. Now, what would normally, what happens, watch what happens now. Sorry, that's right.
Nice.
Okay. Safety, how are you doing?
For safety, things are looking pretty good month to date, except for Region 1. And then for year to date, everything's looking good at every region.
Okay, let's go HR.
HR, Region 2, Region 3, still not on board. However, we've got a strong Region 2, we're just not strong enough. We're still off plan for the month, year to date. Seems like we've got Region 3 is still continues to be an issue, and Region 1 and 2 are holding down the fort and bringing it up.
Okay.
We're still on track for year
Quality.
quality.
Good. So how about quality? How we're doing?
Region 2 and 3 are doing really well. Then Region 1 is showing some improvement because this month we're on track, but year to date we're still on.
Pause. Great job. By the way, she automatically, I wasn't even coaching her no more. She went right to,
The pleasant.
exactly right. I'm good, and my opportunity is where?
This year,
What's the best region in our company right now?
2.
All right. Thank you. Have a seat. Good job. What I want to do now, let's get into how do we build this? But if you look over there, the first order of business is creating a strategy for the company. And so we're going to build one strategy. And then once I build a strategy for the company, now I also need a strategy for safety, a strategy for HR, a strategy for quality. And so basically we have to learn how to build that strategy on a page, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's going to be with your own, okay? So what we're going to do now is, if you can take out the package in front of you, we're going to show you how to go from here. In the past, when people don't know you're doing daily operations and firefighting, we want to move to here where you're still going to do some daily firefighting, but now you're going to be able to break that down. And what we're going to do is build a daily management process. So I want you to write this down. We're not going to focus on tools. Write this down. Be hard on the process so I can lead easy on the people. We're going to create a process now. I want you to be hard on the process and lead easy on the people. Okay? And so what will set you apart is you having your daily management system, and that's where we're going to start. Okay? This is the formula for success. Strategy plus execution equals results. Why do so many companies fail? The plus. They don't focus on who owns what in the strategy. So if you're going to change your organization, if you're a leader, you've got to really focus on who owns what in your strategy. And so what we're going to do is build this purpose map. This was actually one of my purpose maps when I first started. I wanted to get healthy. So what we're going to do is build it. I'm going to start with my purpose. My purpose was to live a healthy lifestyle. What's my current state? My strengths, I like to eat salads. My weaknesses, I also like to eat candy. What's my opportunities? I don't have a gym, but there's one down the street. What's my threat? My mother-in-law lives with us and she bakes cakes every day. All right? What's my CPI? The critical performance indicator. Every organization must identify what's your CPI. A critical performance indicator is any company, no matter what you do, you must have a CPI. It's the main thing to focus on, and you can't have no more than 2. And so for me, it was my weight. We're going to go from moving your CPI to your KPA. To achieve my weight loss, I've got to do these things. Watch what I eat, drink, here. And then how am I going to measure what I said I'm going to do? So you're going to build this strategy on a page today. What's your purpose? What's your current state? What's your CPI? Where are you going to focus? And how are you going to connect your actions? This is when I meet every week, I can drive it here. I'm going to give you this tool today. I'm going to show you how it works. Now, I'm really not selling you anything. What I'm saying, everything's there is in the book. It's harder. Okay? So instead of talking about these things, I want to briefly, for the sake of time, go over what it is. It provides clarity. Why? You need to know how to define, align, and execute winning. Who? Your whole enterprise should go through this. Do it with them, not to them. How? Cascading your strategy, goals, metrics, and ownership, and deliverables is consensus and buy-in. So let's get started. What we're going to do today is go over step 1, your purpose statement. We're going to go help you define that. Then we're going to do your current reality. We're going to help you do a SWOT analysis today. Then once we say that, we're going to help you build your CPI, your KPAs, and show you about action registers. So if you look in your chart, you can do it 2 ways. You have this sheet here that you can write it in as you go, and today you can build a high-level strategy on a page for your company or your team. Okay? There's also the example I showed you of mine. A cheat sheet is this here. This is where you can write, when I get to how you're going to measure it, this is actually a cheat sheet if you want to use this. Why did I give you a cheat sheet? Again, if you want to go back to your team and try this, I want to give you a cheat sheet. My coaches can help you with this. Expedite it. And we have shown, and I'm not exaggerating, I always say, don't talk to me, talk to people that have implemented. That's the best process, but you're going to build your strategy on the page. So now that you have your sheet, step one is creating your purpose statement. So what I want everyone to take your sheet and write down in this box, the top box, if you're using this, I'm going to operate today off the cheat sheet. Okay? I would write it here and then transfer it over. Why does your organization exist? Your purpose. Goodyear exists to make tires to serve our community, our associates, and our stakeholders. That's our purpose. Some people say quality. What's your purpose? To please the customer. Simple. If you have a company now, think about your company. You can make it as long as short as you want. What is the purpose of your company? If you want to do it for your department, write in here, what's the purpose of your department? What's your purpose statement? Take about 3 minutes to write a purpose statement. I'm going to call on some of you to give me just a high-level volunteer. Our purpose is to do what? Now, normally, if I'm in a team, if you're with the team, what I encourage you to do is put up a flip chart, bring everyone in the room, give them sticky notes, and ask them to give you that sticky note and post it here. And for instance, what you're going to get is serve the customer, protect the community, develop our people, make money. I can make a statement out of this. Our purpose is to create a product that serves our customers, protect our community, develop our peoples, and make a profit. That's our purpose. But when everybody comes in the room, you get buy-in as a leader. And that's what you want. You can't just give them a statement. So when you do this, put this up, bring your 5 in the room, and then have them put the sticky notes up, and then have them write a statement. One of the things I'll tell you, as humans, we really don't resist change. We resist it being done to us rather than with us. So the reason why I say put that sticky note up, you do it with the team, not to the team. This is critical, okay? Okay, can I get a couple of volunteers to give me a purpose statement? It can be your department, it can be your small company, it can be you. I use this in my personal life. Remember, I want to get healthy. Well, just give me a couple of volunteers. Thank you.
So just,
He just read it.
okay. So to provide streamlining, preserve brand consistency for all clients in their marketing campaigns and initiatives.
Great. Thank you. Somebody else want to share?
Support small dispense businesses, increase their federal government footprint.
Good. Oh, good.
State transportation with a focus on airworthy modular aircraft.
Good. Anybody else want to share? Please.
To create and maintain reliable facility systems for our clients so we help them protect and preserve life and enable them to run a more predictable and desirable operations.
Give him a round of applause, by the way. Let me explain what y'all just did. If I'm sitting in a break area, or if I'm coming to work for your company, and if I see that in the lobby, I'm buying in. What y'all said, I want to work there. It's my why. The next part of it, now that you have your why, what I want you to do, let's go to the current reality. What we're going to do is a high-level SWOT. This is embedded into your process I'm about to give you. Don't get caught up in the SWOT just yet. Let me give you some advice. In your cheat sheet, I want you to go take your purpose, your SWOT analysis, and in each one of your boxes, I just want you to write 2 for today. All right? Before, let me tell you what to put in these boxes. Box number 1, what are you proud of you currently do best? What are you proud of that you do best? Box 1. Box 2, what's constraining you from being world class? Box 3, if you could get this, this is a gift. Be realistic. If I had this, I can do better. I can do better. And the last one I want you to think about is what can sink your ship? What can sink your ship? COVID, government policies, whatever it is. So real quick, write down 2 things in this box. What are you proud of that you do best in your company or your team? Very good engagement, by the way. Because remember, when you get down with this, I'm going to have someone come up and just present their strategy on a page. And what you're going to see is you're really going to have a whole connected system. Okay? Let's move on. If you haven't, move on to weaknesses. What's constraining you? Just write down 2. Opportunities. If I gave you this gift, would it change your organization? And you want to be able to identify what that gift is. What's your opportunities? I gave you a gift. And the last one is, what's your threat? What can sink your ship? Okay? Give everybody a couple of more minutes to wrap that piece up. So now we have our purpose, our strength, our weaknesses, opportunities, threats. What can sink our ship? So when I look at opportunities, funding, training, there's a lot of things. Last, what I want you to say, we want to move into, now that we know our purpose and our current state, I'm going to go over some things on my cheat sheet. I want to talk about, am I measuring the right things? So here on this sheet, what I normally have people do is, a critical performance indicator is the most critical thing you're going to measure for your organization that signifies success. Now, this is something I really don't share to the public. It's something that, hey, if this doesn't happen, I'm not going to be in business. So it's the critical, most important indicator that you must measure. You can't get caught up in trying to measure everything. And so normally what I would share with you is I'm going to ask you some questions to prove it a point. If I'm safe and I sell no products, am I still going to be in business?
No.
If I have enough people in their train, but we don't sell products and make money and we're still in business? If I have good quality products, they're the best in the market, but we're not selling them and we're not making money, are we still in business? If I deliver the products and I'm not charging them the right amount or I'm not getting enough margins on it and I'm losing money every time I ship a product, am I still going to be in business? So what if no one gets hurt, I have enough trained people, I've got the best products in the industry, and I'm delivering them on full, I'm over-delivering because people can't get enough of them. Am I making a profit? Most likely. So these are KPIs so that I can do what? Make a what?
CPI.
CPI. That's right. That's right. So now, what's your CPI for your company? Write it down. Or your team. Safety, my CPI is no accidents. For safety only, but not for the company. What's the CPI for the company? And you can pick two. If I'm a mom and pop shop, I need to what? Make a profit. I need to sell. So sale and profits, right? I need those both. So what I want you to do is write down your CPI for your company or your department. My CPI for my kids, I had them for my kids. Okay? Now that I have the CPI, what I traditionally do is I move from, you gotta know your CPI. So here's why, to get the point across. If this is a football game, those that know American football, it's 1 minute on the clock, third down. We got 3 timeouts, fourth quarter. The visitors have no timeouts. First down and 10, on the 10-yard line, we're about to score. So it's 1 minute left, 3 timeouts, fourth quarter. All right, I need to talk about strategy. This is my team. And I want you to yell out, what do we need to do? So it's 1 minute left. What should we do, team? Run the ball. Run the ball. What else? Stay in bounds.
We got to know the score.
Say that again.
We have to know the score.
Absolutely right. Y'all did what most teams start doing. You start yelling out what to do, but you don't even know the score. You don't know no. You don't know the CPI. That's right. That's right. This is now what should we do? Yell it out. Notice we're all on the same page based off the what? The CPI. Get the CPI right, and you change things. We are wired for the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. It's embedded in us. What if this is the score? 0-7, 1 minute left. What should we do now? I tell you what, I got an idea. Listen, this is a heck of a field goal kicker right here. I'm gonna put him in. We're gonna kick the field goal. We got 1 minute left, and we want to win the game. What do y'all think?
Well, no. Is it bird offering or no?
Notice everybody said it's wrong based off the what? The CPI. Do your teams know your CPI? Because a lot of times they're doing what you just said don't do. Right? And so what we want to do is start now creating these CPIs. And it doesn't have to be manufacturing. It can be marketing. It can be anything. So your critical performance indicator, take a minute to write down your CPI. If it's your team, if I'm safety, I need no one hurt, no accidents. My KPIs are near miss identification, near miss closure, compliance, all of those things. Those are KPIs. I can measure that too. If it's HR, I need required to operate. I need the labor required to operate. Now, KPIs is training and developing those people. Annual evaluations for feedback. Those are things that are KPIs that I'm going to measure, that if I do that, I should get people. Turnover, okay? Quality, right? Customer rejects, that's my CPI, customer complaints. Now, Take a minute to write your CPI. So now you should have this. You should have your purpose statement, your current state, and your CPI. Now what I want you to do, and this is where it gets tricky. This sheet will help you. I'd like you to identify where you're going to focus. So look at this sheet here and say, I'm going to focus on safety, quality, delivery, cost. If I'm manufacturing. Whatever your business do, where are you going to focus? I'm just being high level. And if you write this down, you also got to write down how you're going to measure it. So if I said safety, food was 1A, 1B. So I gave you a cheat sheet that says write down just 3 things where you're going to focus. But if you write down that's where you're going to focus, write down over there how you're going to measure it. So if you write down where you're going to focus, then move over here how you're going to measure it. If I say I'm going to focus on sales, I'm going to focus on customer contacts, closure rate. I can look at all those things. If I say I'm going to focus on communication, where am I going to focus? Newsletters, emails. That's right. Right? So if I say I'm going to focus on human resources, I'm going to focus on people development, retention, turnover. Right? So just write down where you're going to focus, but how you're going to measure where you're going to focus. And you can only do 1 or 2 just to practice because you don't have, normally this session takes 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I go in and do it with teams, or my coaches go in and do a team, it's a 4 hours and you actually get this here. And normally when we walk in the teams, we walk out with this. Because once we do it with this team, this is the top leaders. Then those top leaders go get their teams and make this one. So you get everybody involved. Okay? Now what you should do afterwards is take all of your notes from this sheet and transfer it over to this sheet. And when you do that, you now have what's called a strategy on a page. Okay? We just saw a young kid, and he took his mother's cookies and did the strategy on a page. He reached out to me, had his mother reach out to me through LinkedIn. He saw me on a TikTok video, and it had 12 million views in 4 days. And what he did was he says, Mom, can you contact Mr. Taylor? She did. We've been working. He now has his business up and running. And he started with building his strategy on the page. Now, I met with him on Saturdays. And because if you're 16 and you're calling and asking this, you got a passion. I want to help you with that passion. But to hear what he says now about his business and what he has to do, I mean, it broke it down to his strategy on the page. And why am I saying that? This is very simple. Because once you get it, once you have it, I'm going to share with you what CBM does. Now, before I go, we don't sell you anything. I'm not pushing anything. But if you want, I think, all of those sheets in a PDF, you scan that, it'll download them for you. All it'll do is just download. You can get those sheets that you have in front of you in a PDF, so you don't have to go make copies. And it's the whole package. Okay? So now, what I'd like to do is go back to this model is where I'm going to close. What we've done is converted that to digital now. And I'm going to go over what it looks like. And we're going to do one more role play. to show you. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me and show. All right. This is what's called a connected business model. I'm going to go over it real quickly, and then we're going to do a demonstration. These are a plant that we turned around. They were losing $1.7 million a month. It's a huge plant. We put it in place. Within 3 months, the lady broke even. And all we did was expose her secrets. But I'm going to break this down and also have a hospital model. What you're going to show is, so this is the plant leader. If I click this button, this is everybody that reports to her and their CPI, essentially that wall over there. But that's not what I want to get caught up in. I'm going to click the picture. Here's that purpose map you just built. And that's her performance map. So if I looked at her plant, I can say for the month, how did she do? She's doing very good on earnings. Her total goods produced is good. She's got one area she should be working on. Where is it? For the month. Customer focus. How's she performing for the year? Now, with her system, let me go back because I don't want to get ahead of myself. Does everybody in her department have a strategy? Let's go with her CI leader. Yep. Strategy on the page. Engineering. Strategy on the page. Finance. HR. In fact, now she has her performance in HR. If you looked at this, how is Cynthia doing for the month? Does she have enough people to run? What's holding her back? For the year, how's she doing? So now the next question I have is, what are you doing about it? Well, if I come here and click my action register, it's embedded all of the actions that she's taking, and she said it's time to fill jobs in days. I can go in here and say time to fill jobs. Those are the strategies just for that. So I've eliminated all the other noise, and instead of her talking by me in a meeting, I specifically want to know what you're doing about this. She says, this is what I'm doing. I've got open items and I have complete items. Now, once I do that, I can now trend and say, is her plan working? Yeah. So what the system does is gives you a process to check your actions, and then I want to know, are you meeting with your people, and does it take attendance? Yes. So I now have meetings that I could check and follow up with my team. Now my team, my time is very valued. I have an agenda, and if I want to upload and have all my documents in one place, we're doing diversity training. What is the diversity training? I now have all of it in one place. It's not Excel files everywhere. So what I would do, here's the next phase of it, what a connected business model system does for you is this. I now also have an org chart. So if I want to know how am I running for the month, as a plant, we're profitable, but who's not hitting their targets? And if I find a place that's not making their target, let's just say operations. I click that button, it pulls up the operations purpose map. Then I go to the action register. So how is operations doing on total goods produced for the month? But for the year. Pretty good. How are they performing for the year? Right? what are the actions that are driving that? And so what we do is I go to my action register, look at all those actions. It's a bunch of noise. I want to know direct labor efficiency. I hit that. I can now find this is what they're doing for direct labor efficiency. So what the system has done is taken that, make it so simple that now I want to know if I'm trending. And I can look versus my plan, versus year over year, versus every quarter, and versus my target. So it's a one-stop shop, okay? And what it does is gives people that type of ownership. Now, what I normally do in this situation, I pull up a hospital, and I ask you to come up and run it. And I sit back and give you all the tools and the processes you need to run it. And then what I do is sit back and just ask questions. After the second one, there's no more coaching that really is needed. Your instinct kicks in, and you start running. You start running the actual process. But I was looking at time, and we're slightly over now. But what I would say to you is, first you start with your strategy. Once you build your strategy, connect your strategy to your team. But how do you know if you're winning or losing is critical in any company? I don't care if you're HR. I don't care if you're safety. People need to know if you're winning because you can't manage a secret. And so what I would tell you is take this package, take your sheets, convert your homework into this, and then I'd reach back out to Doug. Doug is a good friend of mine. When Doug calls, I come. It's not about me saying, Doug, here's what I charge. It's not. Doug, normally what? I think you were at dinner last night. What did I say? Give me a hotel room. Doug, give me a hotel room. Okay? I believe most companies fail because they're secrets. And they don't have this management, no type of management system. It's do as I say, do as I say. Now I'm going to end with this. The most valuable lesson I learned was from a group of young girls running track. I was coaching in Freeport High School. They were called the Freeport Pretzels. Now, how tough can you be if you're a pretzel, right? And I shared the story. And the demographics, we were in a little rural town, 20,000 people, 15,000 people. And I started coaching track. I just graduated from college, 2 years out, and I was in Illinois. Needed something to do. I was coaching football. They asked me to coach track. We built this track team, but they were a powerhouse locally. So now we did well, and we had to go to Chicago. Now let me say, we started out with 5 girls. We got up to 35. Let me give you the demographics of my 4x1 team. It was 4 little white girls and 1 black girl. Okay? So we go up to Chicago, and I say, hey, go warm up. We're going to park the car. I'm going to park the car, and I'm going to come back. I park the car, and I come back, and my girls are not warming up. And I'm like, why aren't you warming up? Well, somehow they got the list of rankings, and they were number 49 out of 50 teams. And my girls said, Coach, you didn't tell us we were number 49 out of 50 teams. And I said to them, well, what does that really matter? And I had a little 16-year-old Katie. She said, what does it matter? What does it matter? Because them black girls too fast. And I says, Katie, great teams don't focus on that. I clearly defined what winning was and what the strategy was. I made it very clear. But I was failing them. I said, get in the car. I took them back to the hotel room, and I said, listen, go to your room, come back and convince me that you're going to run faster. So what did they do? They go to their room. The little black girl French braids the little white girl's hair so it looked like they can run faster. But all it did, they came downstairs and looked like little white black girls. Right? And so they come down, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then the leader, Katie, she says, Coach, we want to change the order of the relay team. We want to put the fastest girl first, the second fastest girl second, the third fastest girl, and then we want to put the slowest girl on the end. And now what she said, we want to put the donkey on the end. I'm like, Hey, same girls, same distance, last place. The head coach said something, said something I'll never forget. He says, Billy, they've trusted you all year. Time for you to trust them. And I said, that's stupid. So they go back to their room, but before they left, they says, Coach, can we get your rule book? I'm like, here. They come downstairs in the morning, they got their briefcase, and they walk right by me. And they go to the stadium. They change the relay team order. Go, pow, back, back, back. We're in first place. We got our fastest girl first, second fastest girl second. So we're running with everybody. When we get to their anchor leg, my girl's sitting on her mark and she's focused. My whole team, and all of my parents, we were waiting for this disaster to happen. We got baby Drew. And now we know everybody's got their thoroughbred and we got our donkey, right? So she hits the mark and baby Drew springs out and she yells, stop! My little girl puts her hand back and takes off running. What did every other team do? Before they realized what happened, we were 30 meters ahead of everybody. Right? And so all of a sudden I hear, could the coach of Freeport High School please come to the protest booth? I'm looking for my captain. What are you thinking? Why did you do that? And she says, Coach, first of all, in a 16-year-old way, first of all, good teams know how to win. Define winning, align winning, and execute winning. That's what you always say. Now, we focus. If our cadence will stop, if they can't focus, that's on them. That's not on us, Coach. Nowhere in this rule book does it say you can't say stop. It says you should have a cadence. I'm thinking now I'm in trouble. I grab the book. I go to the protest booth, and guess what? I become a 16-year-old. Coach, we got to disqualify your team. For what? Because they said stop. The coach said, wait a minute. In all earnest, what they had did, they went to their room and they emulated me. They emulated the management system. They looked for opportunities to win, although it wasn't legal, in my opinion. I called them back in the room and says, you can't break the rules inside the room. But she says, Coach, you never gave us a voice. We didn't come to you because we were afraid. Psychological safety. Wow, that hurt. But that was the reality. They chased me because they go back to the original order and run in the finals. They did. They got third overall. 4 of those girls are some of the most prominent business people. One of them was on CNN, right, about 2 years ago. When you leave here today, people are going to emulate you. If you don't have a management system that lets them know if they're winning, you're going to only get so far. If you're a leader of a team and people don't know what winning is for you, you're not going to reach your fullest potential. You need your scoreboard. We're wired for it. We're wired for it. And you have any kids? Raise your hand. Any kids that are in school now? Don't you want to see their report cards? Why? Why do you want to see their report cards? It's a score. And when the scores are bad, that means you have to do something what? Differently. Okay? Thank y'all for having me. I'm going to open it up for any questions. Any questions you have of me? Yes.
So KPIs is sort of like a leading indicator.
It is.
Or KPIs would be a lagging indicator.
Yes.
That and that other.
That's right. And you have to marry them. That's the difference. People talk about, well, we're going to train our people. We're going to develop our people. Then how are you going to do that and how are we going to measure it? Right? I want 100% of these people, every supervisor, 100% through this training. See, there's the KPA. Now it's the KPI to let you know it happened. Good question. Any other questions? Yes.
This is it's a multifaceted question, but in your book, do you have anything where the plant owner, operator is not compliant? Because you're in consulting, I'm in consulting.
Absolutely.
When the head honcho is not cooperating, do you have a chapter?
Yeah, it talks about how do you get that ownership, not only at the top, but at the bottom too. because one, think about this here. I'm going to start at the bottom first. Write this down. What you accept, you can't change. And write that down. What you accept, you can't change. Now we're going to talk about this here. What does that mean? We all say we got standards and policies, right? And the hourly, when they don't want to follow those policies, leaders walk by and I say they see people with no hearing protection. What do? And then they keep walking. Well, the minute you walk by it and you do nothing, that's the new standard. That's the new standard. So what I say to Doug is the senior guy, you've got to be the one that owns that staff. In the book, I talk about how when I came in, my own bosses, to be honest with you, wanted nothing to do with this. They told me no. Matter of fact, my boss says, I don't ever want to hear this ever again. I took this and put it in underneath the NASCAR tire plant and built this center of excellence. And I went to my boss and says, hey, I'm letting you know what I'm doing, but you got to help me with this. Yeah. I don't need his help, but I need you to help me keep him out of it. You own this. This is what you own. But when it comes to an operator, I own that as a plant manager because you work for me and I had this daily meeting with your team. But here's the deal. If you don't own it, if you're an operator, you're going to blame. When we did huddles, hey, everybody's safe. We have a visitor today. You know what they did? Yeah. But when I said you have to walk the machine and see if there's any unsafe conditions and write it on the board, on your KPA board. You have to walk the area and see if there's any quality alerts. You have to walk and see if there's any maintenance issues. And now you're the leader, report out to her. Were there any unsafe conditions? The difference in being talked to is now you're doing the talking on behalf of the team in that specific work area. So the way we got the people involved is we gave them something to do inside the system. But in the book, it breaks it down how to do it. It does. It gives those examples on setting and holding people to the standard. How do you do it? Because like Doug said, I got sent to the worst plants that Goodyear ever had, the worst. And we had them turned around no more than 8 months. They were rolling. And we just kept repeating it. And again, a guy read the book, actually, Billy O'Quinn's his name. He just called me Saturday. He reached out to me, and he had sticky notes all in his book and sent me a picture. He says it works, but it's hard.
Not easy.
That's what he said to me. He said, this is hard to be the bad person. And I said, you're not the bad person. You have any kids? Holding your kids, loving your kids and holding them accountable is very hard to do. Yes, sir. It's very hard to do. But no, it does. It does. It's inside. Any other questions before we wrap up? I'm going to give you
yeah, real quick. I know earlier in the beginning you mentioned about the eggs, right, and being cracked from the inside and outside. Mm-hmm. Could you give an example of like something that could happen from the outside that would be an example of kind of getting cracked?
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, some people read the book, they wrote the book. They never did it. And you're asking them to come change your whole world. Right? And so, hey, you should be doing this, and everybody should be cleaning up, and you should be doing this, and this is, go get them in a group and you tell them, this is what we're going to do, and this is somebody advising you. You're not considering your internal environment, and you keep doing it, and then your people start looking at you like, I'm not doing a damn thing you say. Right? And I'm gonna give you an example. Watch what's about to happen. I'm really gonna do this, and you're gonna see it. I want you to write these 2 questions down. They help. Okay, listen. I want you to watch everything, the body language and everything of what's about to happen. Listen. How are you doing?
Great.
Good, Richard. Good to see you, Rich.
Likewise.
Richard, I need to get both of these speakers moved out of here, and this podium and these mics, and I want it done in 10 minutes. Okay? Right now, you don't work for me. But I like to get that done.
Okay, where am I taking them?
I want you to take them down there, but now you got 3 minutes.
Okay.
Rich is looking at me like, bull. He really is. He ain't saying it. Look at his face. He's red. He's thinking about it. Richard, watch this change your approach. This is cracking the egg from the inside. Hey, Richard, I got to get these two speakers out here and this mic. Listen, I got a whole team in here. Richard, what do you need from me to make that happen, man? Do we need people? Do we need this? I want to move them down to that conference down there, but I got to get it done quick. What do you need from me, Richard?
Need some people.
Okay, I can get the people. What else you need, buddy?
That's it.
You get it? Okay, and I'm going to help you in too. We can get that done, all right? What just happened? Look at his body language now. I cracked the egg from the inside when I asked that one question, what do you need from me? You should write that down. It backfires on the people that I do it all the time. As an African American in the Deep South, I was leading a plant. They said, no way they're going to work for Billy. That was said. In 6 months, they're putting up numbers like you couldn't believe because I didn't focus on what I owned. I focused on who owned. They own. And so here's the difference. When I ask you that question, here's the question that gives me the right to crack the egg again from the inside. When I give you everything you asked me for that you needed and you don't deliver, leaders have to have the courage to say, I'm not going to accept that. Even if you tell me, right, Ricardo didn't show up, I'm going to ask you, then why did you accept that?
Is the way you approach it.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Even with my kids. When my son became 20, I treated him a certain way. When he came 16, I treated him a certain way. When he became 18, I treated him a certain way. Now at 24, I treat my son a whole different way. When me and him, I'm still his father. He knows I'm his father. He knows he can call me at any time. But now we have a different conversation in a different tone.
Word.
The delivery.
The delivery. Yes.
So the worst thing you can be in South Texas is a Mexican woman, other than a black man, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, in this situation, I'm trying to defend this guy from the FDA and the same guy that I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling his staff, don't report any customer complaints to her because we don't want to spend more money on her on regulations.
Yes.
I'm considering just firing him as a client because it makes me look bad, right?
So bottom line, I just fired a client.
Okay.
Just long story, I walked away, long story short, I walked away from, as my wife would say, a bag. And it was because of that, something like that. I just said, this doesn't feel right, it's not this. I've been coached yesterday, he says, Billy, you can't, he says, your software is brilliant. I'm gonna use his words, and it's not a sales pitch, it's brilliant. He says, the problem is, if you give it to the wrong people and don't help them implement it right, they're gonna go on Facebook and say, you have a bad software.
Yep.
Right? And I love it. I'm going to end with this here too. That ownership piece, right? And I can feel it in there. In most cases, even as an African American, my mom would make me. She drilled this in me. Don't ever walk in the room worried about the glass ceiling. Think about your sticky floor. Think about your sticky floor. So I don't never walk in the room and nobody can hold Billy Taylor back because Billy Taylor knows what Billy Taylor's got to do to make it hard for you to do something different. Because a lot of my promotions were because, Doug, you're going to put a VP of operation in? I just made you $60 million in 6 months. The guy you're promoting, he lost $2 million. Understand, what is he doing that I'm not?
Obviously, I made the wrong mistake.
Thank you, sir. I'm packing up. I'll be moving soon. And so those things happen in leadership. And I coach a lot of minority leaders and having them show up. How to walk in the room. But you know what? The white male is really disadvantaged. You know why? Because I do DE&I all over the world too. And I say, Doug gets shamed into doing right. And Doug gets so nervous that he's not going to do nothing because we put him in a position that is dangerous for him. Versus I come in the room and say, hey, Doug, what's up, Doug? Hey.
I want to get out of my comfort zone.
Absolutely. And so what I do is I help Doug get out of his comfort zone. He calls me on Saturdays. I'm not kidding y'all.
That's what happens.
He did. And I was like, hey, buddy. Hey, Billy, I want you to do, okay, let me know when. Okay, we got to change the date, Billy. Just let me know when. Right? So, and the difference is what I do. Your beliefs Good companies respect those differences. They respect your differences. They don't try to kick them out the door. And what I mean by that is his experience is different. Do you have any kids? 2 boys. You have any kids?
Yes, one girl.
1 girl. Okay. You have any kids?
Yes, 2 girls.
2 girls.
Yes, 30 and 28.
Wow. Boy or girl?
Both.
1-on-1.
1 and 1.
One boy.
1 boy. 2 boys? Come here. You, come on up. You, come on up. I'm going somewhere with this. Is as a leader, all of this is important when I'm building my team. It's very important.
All right, then.
Good. Right? Your son.
Yeah.
He's in Waller, Texas, deep country.
One of them is, yeah.
All right. Saturday night, how do you coach him if he ever gets stopped and he ever does this? What do you tell him to do as a father?
He's only 17. He shouldn't be getting stopped.
Well, I know when I was 17, I had a couple of adult beverages. So if he got stopped, what would you want him to do?
Tell me.
Tell you?
Yeah.
But how did you want him to act with the police officer?
Very respectful.
Be respectful. Okay. Anything else advice you give him other than be respectful?
Do whatever he tells you.
Do whatever he tells you. Anything else? Just
Nah, I'll do.
okay. Your son gets stopped at 11 o'clock in the country on the highway. What do you tell him? Be honest. Don't sugarcoat it.
He's not going to be there.
Huh?
He's not going to be there in the country at 11 o'clock at night.
Why wouldn't he?
I'm not going to allow him to drive out there.
Why not?
Dangerous.
What's dangerous about it? Cars?
The environment.
Oh, what environment?
All environment.
Oh, yeah. I'm going somewhere with this. And it's not bad. What I'm telling y'all is there are differences through biases. Good leaders cut through that and make it safe. What he's saying is, what he wants to tell y'all, I'm telling my boy, shut your mouth, put your hands on the steering wheel, don't say nothing, and if it gets bad, call me and put your phone on the dashboard.
First. Call me first.
He's not telling his son that because it's not his biases. Thank y'all for sharing. Yes. The other piece I want to break down to you, could you come up, please? Yeah, please come on up. I'm going back. These happen in your workforce every single day. Hi, you going to bring your car in? Yeah. Where's your boyfriend, husband? You want me to fix your car? Just you? No, I need to talk to somebody. You know about cars?
Yeah, I do.
Well, let me explain what a spark plug is to you. Okay, there's this thing called a battery. What? The women in here are getting pissed at me right now. All right, go ahead. What I was sharing with you is we make those mistakes when we're talking to people, and great leaders understand that. And when you do your management system, you break those things down, right? Because if I asked you to close your eyes and I took you on a trip, and I do this when I go into companies. When I say close your eyes, I'm taking you on a trip. I says, I'm late to the flight. They got me in first class now. I get there, my flight attendant walks out and says, can I do like a beverage? My pilot says it's gonna be a safe trip. I meet a nice couple. We land. Wow, they got tickets to the New York Knicks. We go to the game, comes down to the game-winning shot. The guy catches and dunks the ball. We go out to dinner, great vacation, I go home. Everybody's caught up in the story, and I say, okay, typically in your mind, when the pilot walks out, is it a man or a woman? Mine's a man. My flight attendant, normally it's a what? A woman. But what happened, this one was a man. That couple that I met they were the same sex. When it came down to the game-winning shot, who called it? Black guy or white guy? Now remember the old saying, white man can't what? Joe. All right, so now who called the alley-oop? The black guy. Bam. Now, in life, if my pilot is female, am I getting off the plane?
Which one?
No, right? I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna, well, my flight attendants, if it's a male, you can say, I don't want nothing to drink. If I meet that couple, right, those things I'm saying, that doesn't have to be the life you live, it's just the thing you respect about, hey, this workspace. And as a good leader, when you have a daily management system, you get that voice out. Those voices are heard. That's how you change cultures. That's how you crack the egg from the inside. People loved working with Billy Taylor, not because Billy Taylor was this nice, kind guy. Bart Raymer says best. He's the hardest guy I ever worked for, but the most engaging. Okay? Done?
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.